Okay. Hi guys, happy Monday. Welcome to Boss Babes Team Call. We have a super special guest tonight. So McKenna is local here in Oregon, which is really cool. Actually didn't officially meet her, but we both spoke at the last Super Saturday. They did Elite and Premier panel, so we both got up there and got to talk. She is a 4-star diamond. She has been coaching for almost 5 years. She owns a salon in Salem, I believe. And she is married and a dog mama, and she is a Success Club 5 legend, and she is a 2020 Premier Coach. So we are both in the 2 to 4-star mastermind thread, and we just started chatting about Diamond Nikes one day, and she was like, I'm gonna get these for my girls. So we connected over on Instagram and just been chatting, and I'm like, hey, do you wanna do team calls for each other sometime? And she was like, heck yeah. So she is kind enough to share her time with us tonight, and she is going to talk to us about Diamond and Beyond and how she has literally quadrupled her income in the last year since advancing her business. I thought it'd be a perfect topic for us tonight because so many of you are pushing for Diamond, and so many of you have already gone Star Diamond or have started Star Diamond Qual, and I thought it would just be the perfect topic for everyone. So without further ado, McKenna, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yay! Thank you. Nobody tell my coach about the diamond shoes yet because she has like one more week till she earns them. So, okay. So thank you, Danny, so much for having me on the call. I'm really excited to talk about this because I feel like it's something really important that I think sometimes it is downplayed. People push to get to diamond and then they stay stagnant, and that's where I was. And I'm going to go into a little bit of why that was. But like she said, she kind of already gave me an introduction, but I own a salon. I currently live in Eugene, so I have an hour commute each way the days I work, 2 more weeks, and then we're moving back, hallelujah. But I have kind of learned to just work this business in the cracks of my day because the days that I work, there's not a ton of time. But I want to talk about, like I said, why you don't want to just stop at diamond. I think people set diamond on such a pedestal and then they get there and they're like, I've made it. Yes, I'm going to sit back and the checks are going to start rolling out and be so rich. And then they don't. I mean, like, I thought I was like, oh my God, I'll make like $3,000 a month when I hit diamond. I just know it. And then my checks barely grow. And I was like, what? Oh, that's why they say to like get to star diamond and keep going. So if you're like thinking you're going to make it when you hit to diamond, you're going to have to keep pushing, sister. So a little backstory. So I've been coaching for 5 years. For a long time, I had some self-limiting beliefs, and that was just, I love doing hair. And I thought if I'm successful with coaching, then I have to quit doing hair. Like I thought it was one or the other, and it really held me back. And then I realized, you can do both. But I grew to diamond, and I was so excited. I bought tickets for a diamond retreat that year. I was going to be in Utah. I was so pumped. And literally a month before the retreat, my whole downline fell. Like I was literally emerald, husband, one other person. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like I almost messaged the coach that was hosting it. And I was like, I already have my plane ticket. I didn't get insurance. Like, can I just come do hair? But I was like, that's kind of pathetic. So I had to see everyone go on this trip. And I was like, I'm just going to be sitting at home. And so that would have been a make it or break it for a lot of people to really be like, feel like you'd reached it and have to start over. But for me, it just meant I had to dig deeper and I had to push harder. And so I got to diamond, and then I sat there for 2 years. Again, self-limiting belief, like I can't earn more, I can't grow more, I'm not a good enough leader. And I just sat there and hung out for a while. And then something amazing happened. And that was, I really dug in my team and built the belief in them that they can do it. And the momentum took off. So I had one coach, June of last year, I officially hit 1 star. So I had one coach hit it, and then another within a few months, because they all were like, if she can do it, I can do it. Like they had all been coaching the same amount of time, and they were like, oh, it's that simple. And the momentum took off. So from there, it was 3-star, and then I built my second CBC to 4. And so it just really, in that time, took off. And I think the coaches saw it's not this hard task. And now they're challenging themselves to level up and push for 2-star. So from June last year to June this year, I broke it down, and I had quadrupled my income, like Danny said. And it was like such a surreal moment because the timing was perfect. I never started coaching for the money, really. I mean, it was like nice to have extra money. But in the past few months with COVID, I was unable to work and unable to get assistance, and coaching was my income. So it was kind of cool to see full circle that I had my best paycheck when I didn't think I was going to need it, and the timing worked out where I totally need it, and it's continued to grow since then. So in those 2 years I sat at Diamond, I was ranging between 500 and 1,000 a month, which was great. But if you're wanting to really level up your income, you've got to push to 2-star and above. They aren't kidding when they say opening your second CVC is such a game changer, and pushing past that. So I just want to share 6 mindset shifts and actions in the past year that I've really started to implement. And they've really helped me go from just chilling at a Diamond for 2 years to getting to 4-star and above. So the first tip is be authentic and share the real. Now, some of the things I share, you're going to be like, yeah, I've heard this a million times. But I think for the longest time, I was like, got a great workout in. It was so awesome. I love it. And then I'm like, who am I freaking kidding? I don't like working out. Like, I love how I feel after. I'm like, oh, dang, I'm drinking the Energizer, which means I have to do the things. And so when I started sharing, like, I don't want to work out today, but I'm drinking my Energizer, which means I'm going to work out. And then I would share after how I felt good, because that's genuinely how it was more relatable. Like, oh, okay, I don't like working out either, but if she can do it, I can do it. I went through some health issues. I'm guessing there's probably not any guys on here, but I had like crazy issues with my period for like 2 years straight, and it was just like a hot mess. And when I started opening up and sharing about that, I had so many people that could relate to me, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can, we had a common interest. And then they saw like, wow, she's been doing, Beachbodying these workouts over these past 2 years, and she's had all this stuff going on. So I just started being more real and not sharing what I thought every other coach was, that they love working out and these are great, and just being me. Number 2, nobody besides people in the Beachbody world know what the heck these ranks mean, okay? So be freaking confident with where you're at. I had a client who, she's both my hair client and then my Beachbody customer, and she was talking about this coach that's in our area, and she was like, yeah, she's like killing it. I'm like, oh, okay, let me creep. And I look, and she was the same rank as I was. I think we were both 1-star at the same time, which is great. But I'm like, oh my gosh, the way she talks with confidence, like my friend was like, I don't know what rank she is, but I think she's killing it. So it's like, they don't understand what diamond, star diamond, what emerald means. Like, if you talk with confidence, like you're killing the game, people are gonna be like, I know 5 other coaches, but this girl's got it. I want to join her. So confidence can go a huge way, even if you don't actually have it, let's be honest. Look over my notes down for anything. Okay, so number 3, you have a team. Whether you're a brand new coach, you're an emerald, you're a diamond, you have a team, and that is your upline team. It is, if you have one coach and they have a coach, they're your coach. I refer to all my coaches as coach sisters because that's what they are. And so I will celebrate them. I will shout them out. I will share them. I'm always talking about my coach sisters. So utilize your team and start talking about it, because once people see that you have a team and you talk about it, they realize there's a team to join, and that you have a spot for them. So don't be afraid to talk about it. Number 4, share the value. I know Danny talked about on the National Wake Up Call about how, like, on her stories, she shares like what she does every day and what she uses. And so people are like, I want what you have. So not only just talking about the products that you use, but really sharing what they get. Like sharing when you're sending out meal plans, like sending out my challengers meal plans for the week, showing the group, showing, sometimes I'll take screenshots of a post. I always get permission, of course. And then I show everyone's encouragement below. Like, everyone is freaking cheering them on in that community. I think that people will see, that they get so much stuff. I had someone say this to me, and this was the real mindset shift, because I used to like go in and be like, oh, challenge check's $160, and then like wait for them to respond. And I had someone reach out, and I recommended the like deluxe challenge pack with the ultimate portion fix. And she came back and she was like, oh, that's it? And I was like, what? And she's like, I thought it was gonna be way more. So I was like, okay, so sharing everything they get, when you actually talk about the price, they're not like in shock because they've seen you share everything they get and they already have a price in their head. So when they reach out, they're gonna be surprised. It's such a good deal, guys. I paid $140 for my challenge pack 5 years ago, and I got 21-day fix, which was like 7 workouts. That was it. Now they get like everything for $160. So that is huge. I also always start by recommending the deluxe challenge pack. And I always say, here's the deal. You haven't worked out in a while. You said it's probably been about 6 months. These workouts are going to kick your butt in the best way, but you're going to be sore. So this is the bundle I recommend because we want you to get the shakes, but we also want you to get this recover because you need to be able to walk the next day. And 9 times out of 10, my customers come back and they order this bundle after the fact, and it's way more. So let's get it all at once. You can thank me later. And then I send that, and then if they're not interested, then I go down to the 160. But I always recommend that first because it's such a good deal. And I don't know how anyone works out without Energize, if I'm being honest. So I'm like, you need that. So start with that, and then you can work your way down. But because you shared so much value and you're sharing yourself drinking these drinks, and they're like, oh yeah, I want all that. Number 5, this is like such a no-brainer, but track your business. Weird. When I started actually like having an efficient way to track, I actually saw momentum. So I love the Rise Up Planner by Moira. For me, that was simple. Even just the customer hot list and the business hot list, where anybody who says they're interested, I write their name down and have one spot to track it. For me, that's huge because I would forget people. They'd get lost in my message thread, and then months later I'd look back and be like, I told them I would send them more information after I got off work and I forgot. So having this with me and just having a simple way to track and schedule things and write out my goal and just have everything in one book, that was super huge for me. Okay, and then number 6, this was the biggest game changer. Get rid of the minimal mindset that you need to hit Success Club 5 or 10 and call it good. Like that mindset is garbage, and I had that mindset for so long. So I hit Success Club 5 Legend. And, the planner is called Rise Up by Moira. She's a Beachbody coach. I'll go over the rest of the questions at the end because I get distracted. So I went for Success Club 5 Legend. And then I was like, this year I'm going to go for 10 Legend. And I was like, we'll see how this goes. It's going to be really hard. And then when I made the mindset shift of like, no, you're going to make it happen, everything changed. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to get to Success Club 5, and then I'm going to like hold these people off because it's the end of the month and I'll get them next month because I got insured next month. It's like, screw that. I'm going to help all the people, and then I'll find more people next month. There is enough people out there to find. It's so funny. My husband will be like, what, you're already at 10, right? You're going to wait till next month. And I'm like, no. He's like, well, why not? I'm like, I'll find people next month. Like, I'm going to get all the people this month, and then we'll go from there. And it was crazy, that mindset shift versus saying like, I hope I can find people next month, to saying I will find people. My best, I believe, was Success Club 18. And it was, I think it was like a team cut month or a sale month or something. And that was probably a year or more ago. And the past 3 months I've had Success Club 18 or higher. And last month I had Success Club 29, which is like insane. If you had told me a year ago, I'd have been like, that's cute. That's not me. But I stopped having that limiting belief of like, okay, I need to find 3 people this month. Like, it's going to be hard, but I can do it. When I started going in with like, I'm going to find at least 5 people easy this month. And I'm not going to stop until I do. And when I do, I'm going to keep pushing. I think the biggest thing that holds us back in this business is our mindset. If we have the mindset that, the school's going to be hard, but we can get there. Like, no, have the confidence with yourself, because that portrays to other people. And when you have the mindset that there's all the people out there, and I'm going to find them, and they're going to want me as their coach because I'm the best coach out there, that confidence, people can feel that. And that is so huge. So I just wanted to end with one thing, and I think this is so important to say because I think it's the biggest thing that holds coaches back and why you see coaches come and go so much. You need to have the not quit mindset. Like, don't go into this business being like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. My biggest thing is when people say, yeah, I'll give it a go. No, you're in or you're out. And if you have the mindset, like, I'm going to dip my toe in and see how it goes, as soon as something gets hard, as soon as crap falls apart, because it will, you're going to be like, yeah, it didn't work for me. No, it's that you didn't work hard enough. So have the mindset from the beginning that you will not quit, no matter how long it takes. Okay, obviously my plan wasn't to take like forever to get to freaking 1-star, but I knew I was going to get there and I wasn't going to quit and I was going to keep pushing till I got there. So having the mindset that you're in it for the long haul and no matter how long it takes you to get those goals, you're going to freaking get there. That mindset is key. Keep pushing. So those are my 6 tips to, I know someone had a question. Okay, someone shared. Thank you, Rachel. Does anyone have any other questions? You feel free to ask.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, go ahead and unmute yourself. I think I wrote down number 4 as number 3. So what was number 3?
Oh, number 3 was, look at my notes. Oh, I was saying you have a team. So lean into your team and talk about them.
Yes.
Coach sisters. That's right.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So today, for example, I was sending invites, and I happened to get one gal that I had friend requested recently that she is in another direct sales company and whatnot. And she responded to me and she's like giving me tips on, you know, your message is extremely cold, blah, 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 which I don't really take offense to that. But I responded with, thanks for the advice, you know, have a good day, blah, blah, blah. And I just like let it go. But how do you respond? Has anybody ever said that to you, I guess I should say, and how do you take that? Should I adjust my entire message because of one person, or?
I would recommend maybe sending it to one of your coach sisters and be like, hey, I love your opinion on this. Sometimes getting just a secondary opinion is helpful. But I would say like just adding little touches, like I don't know, I call everyone girly or sister. So like I always add that in there. But I think at the end of the day, like if you're leading with your heart and your mind's in the right place, like there's going to be negative people out there, like whatever. I've had rude messages and I'm one of those people that if someone doesn't like me, I'm like crushed. I like can't stop thinking about it. I'm like, I should message them and like explain. But you're not going to make everyone happy. And like I said, if your mind is in the right place and your heart is, that's what matters. And I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of direct sales that you get really cheesy messages and you're like, that was terrible. That was a copy and paste and there was no heart. So who knows what her message looks like, or I mean, whatever. She's got bigger problems, clearly. Anybody else? I know it's always the awkward part when it's like questions. Everyone's like,
Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to unmute, ask your questions. A lot of you are pushing for diamond. I have to assume you have some questions.
mm-hmm.
I have one. What do you feel like was your like light bulb moment, as far as, well, I guess any light bulb moments that you had? What were they?
So one of the biggest things for me that was such a huge like aha moment, I kind of talked about how I was afraid to have success because I thought I'd have to make a choice. But with that, I also have always felt like I've struggled with how to talk about coaching in the past because a lot of my salon clients are my friends on Facebook. And if I start talking about the success in the business, they're going to jump ship and be like, well, she's going to probably stop doing hair soon. So I need to find hairstyles in the meantime. And so when I stopped worrying about that and I started just like sharing more authentically about what this business has done, for me, I share about how I love that I don't have to do hair for a paycheck anymore. Like it's just an additional income versus before coaching was an additional income. Like there's been that shift. And for me, it's been the biggest blessing. Like on my vision board, I have on there, like, I want to do hair because I love it, not because I have to do it. Because there's something about a job when there's a stress of income that takes all the joy from it, especially an income that's not set. You know, every month my salon is different, and some months are good and some months are bad, and it's so hard, and it really takes the joy out of it. And so to just let go of what my clients think, like my clients that are my friends, they know that I love hair and I love people. I always say, like, that's the biggest reason I do hair. I love people and I love connecting. And so if people are going to leave because they're worried I'm going to jump ship, like, that's on them. But it's really selfish at this point to hold back what this business has done for us, because it's just insane, like where we are now versus where I thought we'd be. And this is only the beginning. So just not worrying about what people think and just sharing your truth, I think, is huge. Did you have to push? So I reached out. The question was like, did I hype everyone up? I reached out to a couple. So I had like my original 3 coaches that have been with me from the start, or 4, my original 4. And we have a picture together at Summit when Sean T came to town, and all 4 of them wanted to like push and level up. And so they kind of all leaned in together. And they were on the same playing field. So they were like, I've been coaching as long as she has. So I originally reached out to those. I think I reached out to 1 or 2 other people that said they wanted it. And we just created like a push message thread. And like I said, when one hit the other and the other. Now when I have someone who's serious about pushing, I'll do smaller groups with just a handful of coaches that really want it. But I make them show up. Like I tell them, if you're gonna get my time in this push, then you've got to want it and you've got to show up for me. So I like to just do a small handful, just because I feel like for me it's a little more manageable, especially on the days I work. I feel like things are crazy already. So I don't really hype people up to go emerald. Like, I'm like, that's, you either want it or you don't. But I think with diamond, people need more self-belief. So I think that's the biggest thing. You've got to hype them up, and like, once they hit it, they're like, oh yeah, it really wasn't that hard. I'm like, yeah, it's all about a mindset. Like, diamond is a choice, just like emerald is, realistically.
I have a question. First of all, I'm a hairstylist, so that's super awesome. Yeah. So I love your tips about and your fears, because that's been my fear of being able to be like, well, I'm really loving it. And then all my clients being like, are you doing hair? I'm like, yes, I'm doing hair still. So anyway, first of all, thank you very much for saying that. It helps my mindset shift a little bit. But my question would be, if you don't have like since I just started Max 30 today, which I'm dying. So what do you do? Like, what would you send if you're just really trying to like ask for the coaching? And like, I know you were like saying you believe in the team and all of that stuff. So then what would you message somebody if you're like, hey, you seem like you're an awesome person, want to coach with me? Like, what would that look like for you?
So I always first look within my challenge group, just because my best coaches have been challengers. But there are those rock star people that they've never done Beachbody. And I'm just real. I'm like, hey, this might seem kind of weird and out of the blue, but I just have to ask, like, have you ever thought about coaching? I think you'd be amazing. And then I kind of explain why. And I'm like, if that totally weirded you out, I'm sorry. And you won't offend me. Like, either way, I just had to ask, because I'd kick myself in the butt if I didn't. I just try and be real, because I'm like, this is kind of weird. And my coach totally did that to me and was like, hey, you'd be a great coach. And I was like, oh, no, thanks. And I was like, heck no. I literally was like, heck freaking no, never. And then I sat back and I watched, and then I was like, what's that 21-day fix program? And then I was like, I think I'm just going to coach for the discount. And then I started coaching. So I always remember that. Like, a lot of times you're planting the seed and they're going to sit back and watch, which is okay. A lot of times they're going to come around when they're ready. And I think when they're ready is most important, because I have so many people that they sign up and they've never done a program, they've never fallen in love, and they don't have that deep root of like loving the program. So I think it's all about the timing's right with those people. Things you find, yes. I think things that are difficult about doing both I had to find a balance of like sharing, like I want to share my work of hair on my personal page, but then I also like want to share beach, but I felt like there was a lot of like, what do I share, what I not share? And I felt like that for 4 years, it was a really big struggle. And for a while, I just kept just hair to my personal page. And then I'd have people be like, oh, wait, you're still doing hair? Or like, oh, you're doing hair in Salem. I'm like, I've been commuting for 4 years. Where you been? But I think just finding the balance and just sharing your life. Like, all my posts aren't like these deep, like long messages. Sometimes it's just me, like with today's my Monday, like today was crazy. Or one of my favorite things to do is on Thursdays, I always celebrate because Thursdays are my Friday in the salon and it's payday. And so every Thursday, I always stop and get a Black Rock coffee on my way to town. So people know I'm like, guess what day it is? And I celebrate, like it's my last day in the salon, headed to town. And so I just try and casually like talk about, sneak the salon in there. So people do know I do hair too, but I would say I keep more of my business salon stuff to my salon page, but I'll share my salon posts on my Facebook to kind of find that balance. How many invites do you send a day? So this is the funny thing. In the past few months when I've like hit Higher Success Club, I haven't like 10x'd my invites. I've just been really intentional with them. So I try really hard to like connect with people. And when people watch my stories, I reach out and invite them, shocker. So I just try and make connections and be really real on my stories. I have so many clients come in that follow me on Instagram. They're like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous to meet you. You're just like you are on Instagram story. And that's like the best compliment because I'm like, yeah, that's a goal. Like I'm a little more crazy in person when I get with my coach friends. I'm going to be honest. Like I have crazy voices, but we don't throw it all out on Insta story, you know, like I don't bring out my dog voice on Instagram that much. But I wasn't sending more invites. I was just being really intentional about tracking and sharing my life and sharing the products. And with that, people I think came around to wanting to buy. I do send more invites on my days off just because, like I said, with my commute and stuff, I work 12-hour days. So some days I'm not able to send, I try and average 5 invites a day. I didn't say that, but so sometimes on a Monday or Friday, I'll double that. I'll send more just because life's crazy. Now, I'm not saying you should only stop at 3 to 5. Like if you're a person that does more, do you, that's amazing. But that stresses me out. So I'm like, I gotta have like a little consistency there. What does your most okay, so invites. So I pretty much now I'll only invite people that look at my stories or like my posts. I think it comes down to finding what fits you best. For a long time, it's funny, I'd rather just flat out message them the whole like small talk. I am so awkward with that. Like I love people and I love talking to people, but I feel awkward talking and being like, hey girl, haven't seen you since high school, what's new? And like talking for 2 days when I'm like, I'm just trying to get to an invite. And you've had those people do it where they're like, hey, oh my gosh, how are you? And you're like, okay, let's see how long they invite me. So I'm just gonna come out and invite. And I just say something very casual. Like, hey girly, thanks so much for watching my stories. I just want you to know, like, I really appreciate the support. I'm not sure if you saw my post about my boot camp. I don't know if you're interested or if you just like to watch my stories because they're entertaining, but if you're interested in learning more, let me know. I'm happy to share. Or if they like one of my posts, I just say, hey, thank you so much for the support. Like, it's kind of scary sometimes to put yourself out there, and I just appreciate the love. Were you just sharing the love, or were you interested in the boot camp that I was talking about? Either way, no pressure at all. Just know thank you so much. And I say that because I've had people where I thank them for watching my stories, or I just like say, hey, I saw you saw my stories. Are you interested? And then they stop watching it because they're like, oh my gosh, she knows I'm watching. So for just saying like, I appreciate the support. Like, thank you so much. I think that makes it less awkward. And then if they say they're not interested, I'm not super pushy. I'm like, hey, if you ever change your mind, like I'm always here. And then I might follow up like, I don't know, a few months later when they're still watching my stories, but I try and keep it more low key. I don't follow up a ton until they've said they're interested. When they said they're interested, then I'm going to consistently show up. But I try not to make it awkward before that. If they're like, no, I said no the past 5 times and you're still inviting me. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss any. Yep, kept saying no. Then you said yes. See, they're going to sit back and they're going to watch. That's the trick. Biggest thing I've learned, volume. Oh my gosh, it's really all the voices. It's actually really embarrassing. Well, I have a dog voice. That's not embarrassing. I can't help that one. But if I like get really excited, I kind of start talking with an accent. It's weird. And people are like, oh my gosh, I love your accent. Where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from here. I'm from Oregon. They're like, oh, I'm like, my voice changes when I'm excited. Now you guys know my secret, okay? So if you see me at Summit next year and my voice is different, I'm just very excited to be with friends, okay? Reaching out to people who've watched your stories. Okay, I think I went over that one. New friends, followers, engagements. So I try and talk on my wall about like things I've shared in my story. So I try and direct people back to my story as much as possible, because I think once they see my stories and they're watching them consistently, it's not weird when I reach out because there's not that awkward small talk. They already feel like they know me. I literally talk to my phone like it's a friend. It kind of sounds lame now that I say it like that, but I just talk to, my followers like they're my friends, so that when I reach out, it's not weird. For followers, I don't have a ton of followers. I'm gonna be honest. I'm at like, I don't even know how many followers. Let's see. I don't have a ton. I paid for followers for a while, but my husband's a CPA, so he's very like budget oriented. He's like, we're not spending money on that. Guys, I got 2,068 followers. Okay, so you don't need a crap ton. I still help a lot of people that I know that are in my circle, or that I've connected through social media, and they've gotten to know me over the years. I sent out 15 to 60 a day. Heck yes, girlfriend. I need to step up my game. Okay. I say that, but people never respond. Oh, I have some people that don't respond when I reach out. That's all right. And then I reach out again after a while. And then if they don't respond, whatever. I'm like, I know you're watching. Don't make this awkward. I don't say that, but do I sell to men? I have a couple guy customers. It's just not really what I attract. Probably because I always say sister and girlfriend in my posts and stuff and girly, but I do have some that I've helped, or I'll have couples like a husband and wife will want to do it together. And usually the wife is in the challenge group and the husband's like, yeah, I'm fine. But I'm always happy to help them. I have some guy coaches that are like discount coaches and stuff. They just, I think, find that the challenge group is definitely more female focused. So people, oh yeah, I have people ghost me all the time. They're interested and then I follow up and I don't hear back. But when they do come around, because they do, they literally say, hey, I want the deluxe challenge pack. I'm ready. So if they ghost you, they're just not ready yet. They're going to come around. Oh no, I don't send the exact same message. That's kind of obvious that I'm copying and pasting. When I'll change up my invite from like story views every month or two and kind of tweak it. But when I go to message them, if I see that I've invited them before or a couple times they've never responded, then I might just small talk for a while and just, I mean, really at that point, I feel like they're kind of my friends. But if they haven't responded for a while, I'll just chat for a while, but then I don't just hop right into an invite. I might let it linger for a while. And then a little while later, then I invite. Because I feel like if I'm chatting and then they're like, oh, how are you? Like getting to know me. And then I hit them in the invite. They're like, she only cared about me because she wanted to get the invite. So sometimes I'll throw them off their game and I'll actually want to chat with them. Same message over. Okay. My husband is a coach. My husband is a coach and he does the workouts. Oh, like he's an actual coach? Like a legit business coach? Because I mean, aren't all of our husbands a coach? Let's be honest. My husband's like, oh, what are you going to give me for my diamond gift? What are you going to get me? Do you invite most IG? Or I do both. Stories I mainly invite from Instagram, but I do a lot of invites from likes on my post. And that's because Facebook is a little more people that are closer that I know more well. So I feel like I can reach out and thank them for the love on my post, and then it keeps things not being awkward, and they kind of sit back and watch. So I totally do both. I do more, like I said, stories on Instagram though. That's awesome. That he's like legit coach. My husband's not. He did Sandy Max 30. He wanted to lose 20 pounds. He lost it. We were going to do it together. He was working out in the morning, so I was like, no, thank you. Bam, lost it. Wouldn't let me post the pictures. And I was like, dang it, you're killing me. Oh, okay. I was like, what's going on? Sorry, my foot, my thing's glitching. Okay, squirrel. Do you have a Beachbody Facebook page for yourself? Yes. Do I use it much? No. I forget to post. She was asking if I have a Facebook fitness page, and I have one. Don't really use it a ton. Don't really get much engagement. I think I created it because I needed it for an Instagram business page back in the day when you had to have that. So I'll post on there, but I feel like I don't get much. I definitely get more from my Instagram, my personal page. When I first started coaching, I had like a fitness Instagram page, and then I had my personal Instagram page, and then I had my salon Instagram page. I was like, screw that. So I'm like, don't worry about a fitness Instagram page. I feel like that's a lot more work, especially if you're sharing your life. There's like a balance there, so it should be both. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you can post them on your personal page as long as they're not like super salesy. I know for a while there was like this whole thing of if you're like sending invites on your personal page, Facebook's going to shut you down. So a ton of people switched over to their business page. But I feel like with our business, you're like sharing your life within the page, and you're like breadcrumbing Coach Ann a lot in the business. You'll need a Facebook. Oh, when you max out on friends, there we go. So I'm not there yet. I don't even know where you max out at, but I kind of wonder if I'm getting close. So 5,000. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm at like 3,500. So I guess that's a good thing. I have a fitness page. I don't do much with it, but I'm ready. So yeah, I definitely could utilize it more, but at this point I'm like, it's just another thing that I'm like, So I usually will just copy the script from my Instagram and throw it on my fitness page too. Conquering your fears about invites. I think just do it. I think once you've had enough coaches and customers that like have said that you've helped change their life, and like their life is so much better because of these programs, you kind of have that mindset shift of like, it's kind of selfish not to invite people. Like, you literally could be holding back something so amazing. And if you go into it with that like thought, I used to be like, oh gosh, I'm gonna bug them, send the invite, set, go. And now I don't think of it that way at all. Like, I send the invite and I'm like, if they say yes or no, that's on them, but I've done my job like paying this blessing forward. And I think that helps make it less scary. Any tips on setting one up? I couldn't even tell you. I set up my fitness page way back in the day. Don't even remember how I did it. So I'm not really good to help with that one. 50 a day. Gosh, you guys are rock stars. I'm impressed. Yes, I think Instagram, specifically Instagram, the question was about how it looks aesthetically. I think Instagram is like the world. I mean, it's all picture, so I think they have to be captivating. So I would say find an editing filter. I'm going to put my Instagram name because I'm going to be honest, I always creep on guest call people like as they're speaking. So I'll just share here in case you want to look. You don't have to pay for a preset, but I think just having some sort of cohesive editing color scheme. I'm like obsessed with blue, Tiffany blue. Like my friends call it McKenna Blue. Obsessed. So that naturally just comes throughout my page because my whole house is that color. My salon's that color. Well, not my whole house, but you know, it's everywhere. So I think it just becomes natural. So any captions you post that really catch a lot of engagement and attention? I always like to have a question or something engagement at the bottom to get people to comment. I feel like just real authentic posts, like the things that you post that are kind of embarrassing or really funny, like I just posted an embarrassing story because we're moving into our house in 2 weeks. And so I did a drive-by of the house, like just to, you know, see how it's looking. But the current owner, he met me, so he knows what I look like. And I was driving, and he was out checking the mail. And I just looked straight and just drove. And it's a dead end, so I had to turn around and drive back. And my husband's like, he thinks you're crazy now. I'm like, yes, he does. He's like, well, how'd the house look? I go, I couldn't even look off the road. I was so terrified. So like I shared stuff like that in my story and everyone was dying. They're like, I did that too, you know, like, or I posted a really embarrassing picture from high school when I was doing hurdles and I tripped and fell. Like, I feel like those are the things that people are like, I like her. Like I can relate to her. So sometimes like the everyday mundane random things that like make yourself vulnerable are like the best posts for people to connect and relate with you. Oh, thanks, Rachel. But any other questions? Look, you guys were all just shy to unmute yourself and ask questions. Once you type it, you're like, oh, boom, keep them coming.
I have another question. Just looking at your Instagram, how did you know what color to pick? Obviously it's probably your favorite color, but like your page, I guess, how would I know what color to pick? Like, do I go based off how many outfits I have in that color, or how would I pick?
Like, I'm legit obsessed. Like, my tattoos. Like, I'm obsessed with blue. I painted my liver in blue, and I've been obsessed ever since.
McKenna, something happened to your audio. Sound either that you went underwater or you're turning into a demon. I don't know what happened there.
Better?
No. Is something like covering the microphone or the headphone? I don't know. That's not good. Okay. Oh, that's good.
Definitely thought it was my AirPods or something. That was weird.
I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It reminded me of that dragon thing that Addie did on her TikTok the other day where she turned into a dragon. I was like, oh my God, this is happening in real life. She's gonna turn into a dragon. Oh my gosh.
Alex, you made me yawn.
Sorry. At least we know that you're not a psychopath.
Is it any better?
Yes.
Woo! I was going to say I'll hop on my phone, but I don't have the Zoom app, so I was panicked. Okay, what was the question? Oh, color. You don't have to have a color. Like I said, I'm just obsessed with it. Like I have tattoos that color. Like I've been obsessed with it since the beginning of time. So like for me, literally Tiffany blue is one of my pillars. Like that's how obsessed I am. You don't have to have a color. I would just say a cohesive, like even just a cohesive filter can go a long way. It doesn't have to be a color. That's just literally one of the things I'm obsessed with, and that's why I chose it. But I would just say, like for me, I love cool tones. I don't like warm tones. So like everyone was doing the really warm editing filter, and I was like, I could not find one that had like a cool tone. So for me, I love cool tones. So that's what I stuck with. So I would just say, whatever your pillars are, if you can incorporate them so there's like a cohesiveness. So if there's like a color you absolutely love, go for it. I know a lot of people like just like really crisp white. or like gray, like just, I would just say you want it somewhat cohesive. Yeah, I liked Tiffany blue before it was trendy. Okay. I had to spray paint everything blue, and now you can buy it anywhere. Color palette helps create an overall aesthetic design that helps your profile. Yes. I like it, designer nerd. There we go. But yeah, even if you don't have a color, just one filter that kind of makes all your pictures go together. I think that draws me in. Like, I just want to keep scrolling when I see like, oh, the filter looks nice. So I would say if you want to invest in a preset like that, to me was a game changer, because I would take forever editing pictures and it stressed me out. So now I just have a preset and then I just tweak it a bit. Do I talk to my hair clients and my share about Beachbody? That's a great question. Yes and no. If it fits, I don't like invite them, but it like, I'll talk about, oh, I have a trip for Beachbody, or, oh yeah, like I'll fit it if it's casual, but I honestly don't ever flat out try and sell to my customers, because I think that's really awkward. They know I'm a coach and they know they can always ask, but I think it's kind of an awkward line where you can make people feel uncomfortable. So I've had some customers or some clients, I always get the client customer, I had a couple of salon clients that like, they bought Beachbody on demand and then they found I was a coach and they switched to me. So like, they always know they're welcome to, but I don't really cross that line because I think you'd make people feel uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, shirtless husband, that's hilarious.
I think Hala said, how did you talk about your first challenge group? Did you do a post or did you talk about it in stories?
Well, here's the deal. When I first started coaching, things were a lot different. Like my first picture, I was like, okay, set back Shakeology, got my CDs, got my containers. It was like really cheesy, but I think now it's just more authentic. Like, you can do the flat out, like if you're new and you're super excited, like I don't think there's anything wrong in sharing like you're running your first challenge group and you're super excited. Share about the results that you've had with your coach and the group and say you're excited to pay it forward. I think there's a lot with transparency and just sharing where you're at. But I talk a lot about my challengers. And one thing that's been really helpful, here's my secret, guys. You know how you can do the question box? So I'll be like, ask me anything about Beachbody. And then you get nothing. You can comment on your own thing and share your own responses, and nobody knows it was you. So I used to message my coaches like, guys, ask me something. So one time I legit was like, hey, those video workouts, are they required? When Anna was like, oh, no, they're totally optional. Like all the things, people are kind of wondering, but they don't want to ask. I do those in my stories like a couple times a month. Then they're like, oh, they kind of know without having to ask. But a lot of times I just casually share about like, hey, this is going on my challenge group. I have the next one coming up. I try and invite like I'm inviting for a friend on my story. And then sometimes I'll do like, the slots with the names, graphic, say when it's pending and stuff. But I don't invite one way, I mix it up, because I think if you're inviting and you're doing the same approach, it's like, oh, there's McKenna's post, keep scrolling. So I think just kind of recreating the wheel, doing what feels more natural to you. And then in stories having to be more casual. But yeah, one of my coach friends told me about how she commented on her own. I was like, how'd you get so many questions? I never get any. And she was like, don't judge. And she told me, I was like, freaking genius. So there you go, guys. You could be like, ask me about coaching and then ask yourself all the questions. But I did slip some casual ones in there because you don't want to be obvious, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, your dog's so cute. How old is she? And I did Bella. I was like, oh, she's 14. Thanks. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thanks for saying that. It was me. Hey, you do what you got to do, right? Nobody, well, now you guys all know. So, don't rat me out here.
Okay, we'll do one more question and wrap it up. So we are pushing for a team Disney retreat if the damn place ever opens up again.
If you hit 15 star, right? Is that right?
Well,
Or what's the?
that'd be a goal. But 15 diamonds. We need 15 diamonds to go.
All right.
But we had 45 ladies join the push. Now, some of them are already diamond, but so what would be your advice? We have 4 weeks left, excuse me, to hit it. So what would be your advice for them?
Yes, that is amazing. Well, the first thing, like I said, diamond is a choice. Sign, your spouse. I mean, don't tell Beachbody official people that we said that, but we all do it. So whatever. But I would just say, like, first of all, making Emerald a decision. Like, I think the hardest part is getting your coaches to Emerald, but really it's not a big deal. So if you tell them, like, hey, we used to do Emerald push groups and they were a week long. No. Then it's like, woo, I reached Emerald a week later. No. Be like, okay, so here's the deal. When you hit Emerald, that's when you open your business and you start. You're just starting out. So let's get you to Emerald tomorrow. Then you get credibility on your page because people are like, I don't know what rank she hit, but she already hit one, and go from there. So make it super simple for your coaches. Offer the discount to people. Tell them, hey, here's the deal. These shakes aren't just like a one and done thing. Like, it's a lifestyle change and you're going to continue to drink them. So let's sign you up and let's get you a discount. That way you save money. I like to save money. So I'm like, hey, I'm all about the deals. So I really talk about the discount when I'm pushing for a goal like that. Reach out to your challengers. Invite them to coaching, start off big. And if they say no thanks, and say, hey, let's at least get you the discount. I think right now, guys, you have a huge advantage because Muscle Burns Fat is coming out. And by the way, it's already live on sale, just saying. So use that, like, offer people, be like, hey, instead of having to wait till the end of this month, like, I have this group, join, get signed up now, and lean into that. But the biggest thing is, don't have diamond be this huge goal in your head. Like, if you're like, oh, I hope I can get to diamond, like, would be such a big deal, it's going to seem so much harder. But if you're like, diamond is just as easy as Emerald. You just got to keep signing coaches. I know Danny's really big on Emerald again, and like just signing 2 coaches every month. So how about instead of signing 2 coaches every month, you just challenge yourself to do 2 every week or 4 every month. Like, just keep it really simple. Just sign 2 coaches and you'll get there. But just stop telling yourself that diamond's this huge goal that you hope you can get to, and once you get there, you're done. Like, diamond is just a stepping stone like Emerald is, and if you just keep setting your goal and pushing further and further, you'll get there. And I hope Disney opens for you guys, because you guys are going to be going. You guys can break in. If they're not open, just break in. It's fine.
Somebody will figure out how to operate a ride. Just get back there, Danielle. You got this.
At least get in there and get cute pictures with your ears. I mean, do it for the gram.
Okay, you're hilarious. This was awesome. Thank you so much for answering everyone's questions and for sharing those tips. I think they're so tangible, right? Like she said, this business is not hard. It's the mindset to continue to keep going is where the challenge comes in. So if you're doing the things required of you as a coach, which is taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, you should be developing that mental toughness, that grit that's going to allow you to keep going in the business. Like, I presented on a call before this, and one of the questions was, I'm a new coach and I already had 2 coach cancellations, and how do I keep moving forward? I'm like, you just keep moving forward, and you have to know that it has nothing to do with you. Like, everyone has their own hangups, their own insecurities, their own fears. Like, coach cancellations are going to happen. You have to know that. Not everybody is in this for the long haul. Not everybody can afford it. COVID happened, right? Like, not everyone sees the value, the opportunity. Not everyone leans in and understands why they should keep going and why they should try hard, right? So you can't control what others do. You only control what you do. So if you're only helping 1 coach a month get started, and on average 1 coach a month is going to quit, you're going to be on that hamster wheel for a long time, and it's going to feel so much harder than it needs to be. So if you just keep inviting to the team, because that is your best offer, you're going to start achieving those goals that you have set for yourself. And you can't worry about the people who aren't on your bus. It's their loss if they leave. And it almost 100% of the time has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So you just keep moving forward. You know your heart is genuine. You know your mission is genuine. You just keep moving forward. McKenna, we thank you so much. You are hilarious. Thank you for sharing. Let's take a picture. Stop that.
Someone tag me in it.